You want to make big swords.
Don't you, Squidward.
First off, this is how I make them cheap and fast. Not strong and durable. This is so it can look pretty on your wall or in your nerd dragon horde. This is not so that you can swing it around at your friends at conventions who didn't wear enough deodorant and you're kind of keep them like 7 feet away from you with a big ass sword. However, I won't let you maniacs hanging who want to do that to your friends at conventions. So, some creators I recommend checking out if you're looking into more details about that and specifics are Frankly Built, Sir Julius, Steph's Nerdy Stuff, Saturday Morning Props, and Build Daniel Builds. They've all made giant swords that look fantastic and are super durable. First off, the most important thing to do is to research your 3D model you're going to use for your sword thoroughly. You could go with the first file you find on Google when you type in big ass anime sword STL and run into countless problems later, free or paid. Make sure to look at the comments and reviews of the file. That's going to be the easiest way to see if it's hot garbage that you're never going to want to print, or if there's easier ways to print it out and get it correctly on the first try, saving you time and money. My personal recommendation, if you're just starting out, is Thingiverse. Every file on that website is free, and the good ones are going to have a ton of comments with a bunch of reviews and makes of how to do it correctly the first time. If you're willing to spend a little bit extra money to get a nicer file, some recommendations to save you some search time are going to be Wireframe 3D, Apocalypse, and Yosh Studios. All of them have amazing giant anime sword files that I've made before and have turned out perfect. The best ways to save on print time are actually hidden away in your slicer settings. I personally use Bamboo Lab Slicer and Orca Slicer for my printing. First things first, your layer line size. It's a big anime sword. It's big. It's flat. You don't need to do it on 0.08 millimeter layer lines to have it look perfect off your print bed. 0.24 millimeter draft settings are fine. It will print in a third of the time, and you're gonna sand it anyways. A little bit of filler, a little bit of sanding, it'll look the same. The second thing is gonna be your number of walls. Will 3 walls make your print a ton more durable? Yes. Also remember, you're not making a weapon of mass destruction to destroy your friends with. You're making wall art. 2 walls is perfectly fine and will save you a third of the time for your print. Third thing, infill. Stop putting an entire roll of filament in each section of an 8-section sword. Bring that 25% infill rating down to around 5%. You aren't going to be able to lift it anyways if you leave it at 25%. I know you skipped arm day, and I know you have an excuse for why you didn't go today. Jokes aside, those are the personal settings that I use, around 5%, 2 walls at draft settings to get a fast, easy print. If you're looking into more detail of why to do what infills or walls, there's a video by 3D Printer Academy that breaks down all the different types of infills and walls and explains what's strongest and what's weakest. Do your own research and find out something that works for you. Big thing that is integral to your giant prop not crumbling like a Popeye's biscuit is internal support rods. Now, for a cosplay or convention, I would recommend steel threaded rods to go throughout your thing for a lot of support and strength, but as a cheaper, faster option, wooden dowels work amazing. Wooden dowels are way easier to work with. You can snap them off at any point instead of needing some fancy saw or something like that to work through the steel threaded rods, and are a lot lighter for your weak little baby arms. Or an even more fun option is if you took a little more time and researched into your options for files. Some of the models are keyed or have different ways where the model actually connects to itself to create its own support, like with my giant Whitebeard by Cento or my giant Kaido club that actually screws together, creating its own support. It won't screw back. It's not screwing back. There we go. But this will save you time on not needing to go out and spend more money on finding the correct support rods or buying the wrong ones. And most importantly, make it for you. The point of a giant ass anime sword is to feel happy that you have one. You're not taking it to a competition to be judged. Who gives a shit if you spent 5 days wet sanding it for the 800th time with 3,000 grit sandpaper? Make it for you. Now, if that's what makes you happy, go ahead and do it. But if a step doesn't feel necessary for the outcome that you're looking for, why do it? You don't need some fancy professional grade paint kit if all you need is an $8 can of spray paint from Walmart to get the color that you want. Do it the way that you want to do it and would enjoy doing it. And this goes for all projects, by the way. I love the way layer lines work. A bunch of people hate it. I don't care. I like how layer lines work, so I'm going to make an entire Iron Man suit that is completely raw prints because I just love the way it looks. It's your project. It's your artwork. Do it the way you want. Except you, Dylan. You know who you are. If I see a single layer line, I'm reporting every video you've ever made. So that's some ways that I make my giant 3D printed swords cheaper and faster than some other people. It's at the price of some durability, but if you want to make it more durable, I've given you plenty of options to look up. If you have any specific questions, feel free to ask them down below in the comments. Have a good one.